Hey YouTubers, I know it's been a while, but I finally got another Iron Studios 1/10 scale piece. It's the Predator Jungle Hunter. As you can see, art scale 1/10. So pretty good size box. So you got almost 17 inches here as far as the width, and roughly looks like 13 inches, wide. So it's not a big deal, but just so you know, when this thing shows up in your front door, it's fairly good size. It's got a brown shipper with it, but it doesn't really feel that hefty. It feels kind of light. I get a feeling that as we go on, they're kind of scaling back perhaps on some of the materials. The other thing that's interesting on top of it is you get this Predator assembly instructions for the Jungle Hunter. So interesting that when they told me, Sideshow told me it was coming, they included a assembly video. So kind of interesting. But let's go ahead and dig in and see what's inside. But I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a little indication of what's on the box. You can see an assembled piece together there. So it looks pretty good. You've got the Iron Studios here, the Predator here, Predator kind of here, and I think in the bottom of this thing, just the typical Iron Studios information. So nothing unusual about the box, and we'll go ahead and get going. Here's what it looks like with the styrofoam pieces apart, and we'll go ahead and get it unwrapped. So you can see there's a bunch of pieces here, so you can see why there might necessarily be a need for assembly instructions. All right, here's what it looks like when I get everything pretty well unwrapped. And I can see why there are some assembly instructions. There's several of these bracelets that you can kind of see here that will be hung on him in various positions. So you can see you've got extra hands. You can decide what you think and how you want to put them. They really look good. They're very detailed. There's a little bit of heft to them. Love the fingernails. Love all this. Really, really very nice. In the other hand, the left hand is similar. And then here's the hand that has the skull. Oh, wow, it's a pretty cool looking skull. Still has remnants of flesh on the skull. You can see the jawbone is kind of dislocated a little bit. Yes, very nicely done. All right, let's get into some of the sculpts. So, all right, this is the primary sculpt here. Looks good. The dreadlocks have a good feel and a good look. Of course, they go all the way around. I love the detail on his forehead and skull. The mandibles look really good. The one little tiny issue, I'm not sure if you can see it on this side, but there's just a little tiny tear. Not to me, not a big deal, but it's just a very tiny little tear there. So I think that looks good. And then of course with his helmet on, this is kind of the, I really like that look. And it's got a good feel to it. So they haven't lost, their expertise with regard to the texture. I mean, it looks real, looks good. And we'll see how it all looks together. You can see the scars up here on the top. And then you can see some of his armor pieces. You can see the detail here. The cannon. Love that. And then you have several of these kind of trophies. So this is looks like a backbone, spine that he'll wear. And then you've got, I don't know, some little small animal skulls. We'll put those on. And then the body. So this it's got some heft to it, like that. And then if you look at the detail, the claws here look really good. You've got some detail right here on his forearm. The shoulder pads look good. And then this webbing is kind of a fabric. So it's a little bit of a fabric there. You can see some battle damage on the armor. Shoulder pads. Left arm. That's 10 scale. Looks like they'd really done well on it. This is solid. And then lower extremities, feet, toes. Looks like you need some nail clippers. All right, so you get a better sense of kind of what we're looking at here for the body, and we'll go ahead and get them assembled. Yeah, before we get them out there, you can see here are the assembly instructions. So you've got the two head sculpts, the necklace, shoulder pads. You can see where the backbone goes, the hands, and so on and so forth. So this kind of gives you that. We'll look at the base a little closer when we get them assembled. One thing I'm looking at here right now is it looks like there's a gap here. We'll have to take a look at that and see if I can get that working. All right, let's see if we can kind of get through this a little bit. I've got them assembled. Overall, I think looks good. We'll go ahead and try this sculpt here. I mean, the base is really nice. You can see this area is kind of like a translucent, watery area. There's a skull here that really looks nice. We won't get it too well, but so the base is nice. These pieces here move. So these kind of like foliage there move around. So they're not static. They're not made of any hard material. The hands go in really well. You do have to make sure that you put the head on first, and then you put this. But before you put the cannon, you've got to decide, okay, do I want to go ahead and put on the necklace? You've got the little animal skulls here, and then you've got the backbone here. And these you can see are on a little strap, tiny little strap. So those go on first, the head next, then the cannon, and there you have it. So that kind of gives you his look. So I think you've got a good looking piece here. We'll go ahead and show you what we've got here. Yeah, I mean, I love the Predator, love the Alien franchise, and I think if you like that, you're gonna like this. Looks good. We'll get a few measurements here before we finish. Yeah, I think that's gonna go well with my aliens here. So it's kind of a mixed media. You've got the solid piece. These are kind of like rubbery pieces here. And then you've got the little straps holding the necklace and so on and so forth. All right, we'll get into a little handheld stuff here. All right, little handheld. You can see looks good. Love the detail, and that's really, I think, Iron Studios' forte, is the detail they provide. It's just really top notch. Yeah, this netting is really pretty cool. And you can see the texture on his legs, the rope. Can't ask for anything more. I love the price point, and they've got a lot of good stuff coming out. They've got the Steven Spielberg Jaws piece. Looking forward to getting that, and a few others. Got a Cyclops coming. Yeah, so this is really something nice. I think it'll fit in with your collection if you like the Predator series. All right, well, let me go ahead and get the other head sculpt on. All right, swapped out the head sculpt and also swapped out this hand. But you've got a lot of options here. And I think, again, if you like the Predator, you won't be disappointed. Couple quick things here. As you can see, the little tiny straps here. You do have to be careful when you put this on. You can see the way that little piece can kind of get into where the peg goes. So you have to be very careful to kind of move that over, or make sure that when you're putting this on, you're moving it. It's a little bit flimsy there, but it's not going to fall off. So overall, very nice. Okay, from a standpoint of measurement, you're looking at a little under 11 inches, probably closer to 10.5 inches high on the base. And then from a width standpoint, you're probably looking at about 8 inches or so. All right, so I think overall I'm very pleased with this. Iron Studios continues to provide quality products, and they've got a lot of stuff coming out. And again, I think if you're a fan of the Alien Predator series, this is something that you'll like. All right, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, would appreciate it. I'd like to make these videos better if I can. Thanks. Cheerio. Okay, you'll recall we talked about this gap. And really what happens is, as you put the figure in, this foot kind of is contacting the base first, leaving a wider gap here. So I ended up using light pressure to push it down further. There still remains a little bit of a gap. It's not really going to bother me, but the only concern might be is when it's time, or if you want to remove this from the base, you'll have to be careful, because it's not just going to pop right out. You'll just probably, again, have to do use a little bit of pressure and kind of just shimmy it a little bit to get that out, because it is in there fairly tightly. So do with this information as you may, but I don't think it detracts from the figure itself.